So a lot was revealed for the gaming community as a whole within the last 24 hours, but for Call of Duty in particular, there was a specific finding that is incredibly interesting. It doesn't pertain to Call of Duty 2021 and Vanguard's release this year, but instead jumps forward another year to Call of Duty 2022 and what may very well be the sequel to Modern Warfare 2019. So today we're going to break down everything you need to know, what we learned here out of this, and what it means for the future. So let me know your thoughts as we go along. Are you guys looking forward to another modern game after Call of Duty Vanguard? Are you looking forward to seeing Price, Gaz, Ghost, and now seemingly Soap and the rest of 141 again? Are you looking forward to that? Whatever the case may be, let me know your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. Let's aim for 1,000 likes on this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Vanguard, Warzone, and even Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 related content here coming up in the future. With nearly 60% of viewers not subscribed, if you're interested at all, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you in the community. That said, let's jump right into it. So as we mentioned, this stemmed from something much larger, and if you're a gaming fan, this is actually rather interesting. Recently, individuals on Reddit ended up finding a back-end opening to the Nvidia GeForce technology site servers, and from there they were able to see hundreds of games that were being tested out on the Nvidia servers. This list is honestly incredibly long, with nearly 6,000 entries logged from things that range from Adobe products that are just commercial software to things that are entire games, both past as in scrapped projects, present as in existing now, or future games as in development and yet to be either released or even announced in some cases. Now, 6,000 is a lot of stuff to sift through, so some of the highlights of that were things like GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas remasters, Half-Life 2 remastered, Crisis 4, Titanfall 3, and many others. And what makes it even more groundbreaking is that Nvidia came out and announced that this leak was in fact real, but in a likely PR statement to naturally avoid a lot of legal drama here that could potentially follow, denied quite a bit of the games and stated that some of them were real while others were not official. But what's interesting for us Call of Duty fans here is that we had an entry into this database around log 1164 and 1165 as entered as a game, Project Cortez. Now, ordinarily, Project Cortez would be something you just breeze by. It could be literally anything, but Project Cortez has been reported by various outlets to be the code name for the sequel to 2019's Modern Warfare by Infinity Ward. So Infinity Ward's next project and likely Call of Duty 2022 here. Now, this shouldn't be anything that comes as too much a surprise. Every game at this point or early on in development is something with code names. Oddly enough, we actually had for the first time in as long as I can remember, Project Vanguard turn out to be named Vanguard here with Sledgehammer's introduction. This year, Zeus was the code name for Cold War, Warzone's code name was Magma, and so on and so forth. Each big project like that ends up having a code name or a project name that's meant to keep things on the down low while working on such a high-profile project like Call of Duty. We see this all the time in databases for games too, hence why the Black Ops Cold War Alpha was called the Red Door. If you were to see that listing in a database on, say, PlayStation's backend, you wouldn't think anything of it. You'd think that maybe it's just some small indie project likely, not a huge AAA title that is Call of Duty. It allows these items to be placed in sort of plain view and in a somewhat public setting to be accessed without the scrutiny or the attention that the name Call of Duty brings it. But Project Cortez here at this looks to be and is corroborated by a number of previously accurate industry insiders by now, the successor to Modern Warfare 2019, a likely Modern Warfare 2, if you will. Though, in terms of branding, I'm still expecting it to be Modern Warfare Roman numeral 2, so as to avoid the marketing conflict and sales of previously Modern Warfare 2 from 2009. But out of this, while the Nvidia leak is the springboard for this being in development and coming as we likely already knew, leakers and those with information close to the project state that this is going to be something that follows Modern Warfare's story, but with a campaign involving US Special Forces fighting a covert war against the Colombian drug cartels. And with the project name of Cortez, it's being likened to the conflict from Clear and Present Danger, the Jack Ryan story from Tom Clancy, whose main baddie is Colonel Felix Cortez. So many drawing the obvious possible conclusion to a narrative possibly following a similar direction here at this. So interesting narrative direction, and I'd be curious to see how that holds up continuity-wise. Personally though, I'm really curious to see if we continue on to that setting in 2022, where, like Modern Warfare 2019, the actual campaign took place with the first missions on the 24th of October. The game launched on October 25th. So I'd be curious to see if we follow that again here where it's set in 2022, and if we follow the canon that Warzone set up, or if that ending that we saw with Modern Warfare will be kind of retconned, because as you know, Warzone was the direct set piece in the story and narrative following Modern Warfare. It went from the campaign to Spec Ops to then Warzone and beyond. but after that foiled attempt to launch the nukes from Zakhaev, that technically could be the wrapped bow on the storyline, and they could essentially retcon everything else in regards to the storyline after that. We end up seeing it set up SOAP coming for Modern Warfare 2 and what Task Force 141 could have up on deck next, but because, you know, zombies, that's a bit more fantastical, that's a bit more out there and doesn't necessarily play into the realism of the story that Infinity Ward was incredibly keen about. But I'd be really curious to see what a modern world would be like after a nuke with 141 and Armistice, but I guess we'll have to wait and see with all of that. But if it is a covert drug cartel war here at this, we don't quite know what that would mean then for the main players here at this, the main bad guys like that, because as you know, within the Modern Warfare universe and what we've already established, we did have our returning characters here in regards to, of course, your main characters of Price. You had Kyle Garrick or Gaz, you had Ghost, and you later ended up having Zakhaev as a main baddie in the storyline as well. But for the most part, a lot of what we saw here was new faces and introductions here at this, with people like Hadir, Barkov, the Wolf, the Butcher, Farah, and Alex. You had a lot of these characters that were mixed in with some existing ones that made it an easy transition into a new storyline utilizing existing characters. So I'd be curious to see if that happens here again, if we end up getting anybody that is returning, or if it's an entirely brand new cast here. Though I do think that it would seem like a big misstep in some regards to not include the baddies like Shepard or Makarov in the second Modern Warfare installment, given that, again, they have so much weight within the existing Modern Warfare universe. And even though this isn't the same, that's such an easy draw again that you could bring players in with those familiar faces, but how that would then connect to, say, Colombian drug wars, that's a big question. But again, all of this stuff is just so far off that we don't have quite an idea just yet what it will entail, and it's a little too early to worry about it just yet. But that brings me to where I am kind of mentally with this. This seems to be more commonplace now that we see further out leaks. We saw Cold War's developmental troubles reported before Modern Warfare was even revealed back in early of 2019. We saw reports of Vanguard's early development being reported on before Cold War launched, and now we see the first bits of information regarding Call of Duty in 2022 before Vanguard's second beta even kicks off. So it seems like we're in that phase where we're just getting either super predictable with information to come up, or things are just coming out absurdly quickly. One thing that I will say that I'm incredibly hopeful for, though, whatever this sequel has in store, both narratively and gameplay wise, this is the lone exception of no mentioned developmental turmoil. Modern Warfare 2019 was the best-selling COD since Black Ops 2 before Warzone, and after it, it's now the best-selling Call of Duty game of all time. So it was an absolute no-brainer that we'd see a Modern Warfare 2 coming from Infinity Ward next. The problem administratively and on the Activision side of things was, how do you keep things high going from that game to Modern Warfare? What goes between that? So while Cold War and Vanguard reportedly had their developmental pitfalls, and I'm sure that that's evidenced by some of the things you've seen in gameplay the last year and maybe even going into this next year. So while those games seemingly were rushed or didn't meet expectations or anything like that, Infinity Ward is the one kid who was allowed to skip that social call to hang out with everyone and just work on their craft diligently in their room uninterrupted. This, if I were to take a guess, is the first Call of Duty game in a long time that has zero questions about it, that had zero objection of the design, that was entirely unimpeded from start to finish in years. So that has me incredibly interested. So even as we gear up here for Call of Duty Vanguard, we do have the prospect of a Modern Warfare 2 already being seemingly confirmed here for us coming as of next year. So that's where we're at here at this. Wanted to give you guys the lowdown on what's all happening here within the space and keep you up to date with everything you need to know. But before we wrap anything up, a big thank you to these legends on screen who've used creator code Espresso in the in-game support a creator function of the store. Today we ended up seeing the Judge Dredd bundle drop for Beck. It comes with the Dredd operator uniforms and a couple of cool blueprints. So wanted to quickly mention once again that if you ever do decide to pick anything up, it's entirely optional. You can use that creator code Espresso to help directly support the channel a little further. Of course, again, it is entirely optional, so don't feel pressure to do so, but if you ever decide to pick something up with code Espresso, tweet me a picture. I'd love to shout out some of your generous support in upcoming videos. That said, we're gonna wrap it up, so let me know your thoughts down below. Are you looking forward to a Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 2019 sequel? How do you think the campaign and the storyline and narrative will go? What do you want to see out of it? Whatever the case may be, feel free to let me know your thoughts down below. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Vanguard, Warzone, and even in the future, some Modern Warfare 2 content here coming up. So hit that subscribe button if you're at all interested. But if you also want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to chat with me outside of YouTube. I practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever the case may be, that link's down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.